Okay, well, this is going to be our first lesson that kind of adds a little bit to what your textbooks talks about. And this is something that will be on your quiz. You'll need to make sure you're comfortable with that, and that's setting tabs. And the idea behind setting tabs is when you want to make a single-spaced list of items in which those items are in different columns. And let me just kind of give you an idea of how not to do it. Let's assume at this point that we're going to go ahead and make a price list. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn centering on, and I'm going to use my shortcut key, which is Control-E, and I'll just type price list. Of course, I'll try to type it correct here. Now, if I wanted to have a couple of columns here, let's just say in this case we're selling chickens. I wanted to have a column of the chicken breed that we're selling, and then over to the right of that, a column of the price. A lot of people make the mistake when they're trying to put things in columns is just press the space bar a whole lot of times. And maybe we'll type Rhode Island Red here. And then they hit the space bar 1,000 times. And they type the price. Well, first off, not only is that not very proficient, but it takes forever, and really the things just never line up properly. So the proper way to do that is to set tabs. Now, when you're setting tabs, you need to make sure your ruler is on, and if your ruler isn't on, you go into the View menu and you turn it on. In this case, it is on. Then you'll notice that the ruler, every half inch, has a little mark. And that little mark actually represents the default tab stops. And so one approach would be just to use the default tab stops, hit the tab key a couple times, type the Rhode Island Red again, and then tab over this way. That's much better than using the space bar, but the problem again is it never aligns properly. We want to actually set two tabs. We don't want to have to hit the tab key twice to jump over here to, or 3 times to jump over to type Rhode Island Red, and I don't want to hit the tab key several times afterwards. I also want my dollar amounts to align perfectly on the decimal point. So I'm actually going to set 2 tabs. One for the name of the chicken, a second for the price. And the name of the chicken, I want them to align to the left. I want them all to start at the column here. But the price list, the individual prices, I want them all to align according to the decimal point. So I'm going to set a left tab for the chicken names and a decimal tab for the chicken prices. I do that by going over here to the tab marker. And notice that right now, if I point to it, it says left tab. And that's exactly what I want for my first column. Now, a lot of people make the mistake of dragging. You don't drag now. You just go to the place on the ruler where you want to set the tab. In this case, I'm going to go to 1.5 inches, and I'm going to click. Now, when I do that, the tab marks at 1/2 inch and 1/2 disappeared, and I have an L representing a left tab at the 1.5 inch mark, which is exactly what I want. Now, for the second column, I want a decimal tab. So I'm going to change the tab type. I'm going to click on this. That becomes a center tab when I click it once. I click it again, it becomes a right tab. These are all the different alignments you can have for your tab stops. Finally, I click it one more time and it says a decimal tab. That's exactly what I want. So I'm going to set that at about 5.5 inches. So I have a left tab at 1.5, a decimal tab at 5.5. Now when I press the tab key, it jumps right to the first tab stop. Boy, I can't type today. I hit the tab after I type Rhode Island Red. It jumps right to the tab stop. And here I can go ahead and put in the price. Now if I do another one here, tab again, notice it's aligned to the decimal point. And finally one more. Everything aligns perfectly according to the decimal point. Now here's the other cool thing. If you've set tabs here, and it looks to me like I really haven't done a good job aligning this text. I think really probably this tab over at the 1.5 inch mark should probably be at about the 1 inch mark. So, as with anything in Microsoft Word, if I want to change stuff that's already there, I do have to highlight it. So I selected the column to text, and now I just drag the tab stop over. Now while I'm here, the other cool thing I could do is I might want to add some leaders, which are dots between the columns. And I'm going to go ahead and add some dot leaders between these two columns, just so I can make sure I know that the Plymouth Rock is the one that costs $1. Okay, so what I've done at this point is I've expanded the paragraph dialog box, And in the paragraph dialog box, I go to the tab button down at the bottom. Now I have to tell it which tab stop I want the leaders to come in front of, which is going to be the 5.5-inch tab stop. I don't want them in front of the Rhode Island Red and the Plymouth Rock, so I click on the 5.5-inch tab. Then I choose the leader style that I want. I can have dashes, solid lines, or dots. I choose dots. I click Set. I click OK. And when I'm done, I have the dots. And that's pretty much how it works as far as setting tabs. And remember, this will be on your quiz, so if you need some help, please let me know about it.